let's do it for today. Okay, sweet. Let's get started. Okay, so hello, welcome everyone again to our Hand at UCLA info session for fall 2021. Today's session is Tuesday, 5 to 6 p.m. And we have our second one tomorrow, Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. with some new officers. Okay, so let's start with some introductions. Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany. I am a third year HBS major, biomedical research minor, and I am serving as our founder and president of HAND for this year.
Hi everyone, my name is Samya. I am a second year neuroscience major, and this year I will be serving as the VP of operations here at HAND.
Oh, hey everyone. I'm on the next slide, but my name is Sasha. I'm a second year comp and systems bio major, and I'll be your education director for the year.
Hi everyone, my name is Shravya. I'm a third year psychobio major, and I'll be your shadowing director for this year.
Perfect. This is our whole leadership team. You should be meeting, if you're attending tomorrow, the rest of our team tomorrow. So let's go on to our board of advisors. We have Dr. Casillo as our faculty advisor, Lee Felsenstein, Dr. Jacqueline Chen as our engineering medical advisor, Dr. Jeff Bronstein, who is the director of the Movement Disorders Clinic. He's our medical advisor, super awesome. We have Dr. Trejos and Dr. McEwan, who serve as our engineering and medical advisor, respectively. All right, but we work with them mostly on our innovation team for a lot of consulting or just general questions we have, as they're all professionals in their industry and fields. Okay, so going through some of our values. I didn't say this before, but HAND stands for High Tech and Neurological Disorders, if you didn't know already. And we have 5 core values. First, we aim to promote awareness of neuro disorders through educational newsletters and infographics. And second, we connect students with networks of professionals through guest speaker events and journal clubs. Most of our students are comprised in a lot of different fields, focusing on neuroscience, biotechnology, business, and even media and design. So we aim to just connect them with professionals in their respective fields through all of our events. Now pass on to Samya to introduce the rest of our 5 values.
All right, our third value is collaboration. So this is definitely seen in our innovation team, which combines students in business, design, engineering, pre-meds, like all sorts of different fields. And they basically are working together to build intelligent prototypes based on Tiffany's patent. Fourth, we have our shadowing, and that is hopefully this year we will be able to head into clinic at some point, COVID permitting, to kind of work with some of the physicians who work with individuals with neurological disorders. But so far we have been able to do some virtual shadowing as well with some Parkinson's support groups. And finally, we have entrepreneurship, where members can learn and explore various career opportunities, which includes like medical specialties through guest speaker events, as well as the biotech industry through the innovation team.
All right, so our HAND mission statement here. Again, High Tech and Neurological Disorders, or HAND at UCLA, is an official organization, and we focus on the intersection of healthcare and innovation. We partner with the UCLA Brain Research Institute and the UCLA Movement Disorders Clinic to increase awareness and education of neurological diseases, including movement disorders such as Parkinson's. We're currently composed of 3 committees: education, outreach, and public relations. We'll be speaking more on those later on, but we host a lot of different events such as medical speakers, do journal clubs, discuss recent research. We also lead educational workshops for middle and high schoolers. We also have an innovation team that Samya mentioned, which is an ongoing award-winning project to develop a prototype for and market the Parkinson's device patent. Sorry for the car outside. Additionally, we are having a newly launched shadowing program this year. Shave would touch more upon that, but the goal is for HAND members to be able to shadow physicians, potentially starting at the Movement Disorders Clinic. And lastly, we welcome all students passionate about neuroscience and cutting edge technology, as well as students in the business and marketing fields interested in biotech and entrepreneurship. Of course, we welcome all students, but I think most of our populations are composed of students who are interested in these areas. Oh, right. And here are just, again, our partners with UCLA Health. Okay, I believe it is still me, but next, moving on to committees and our innovation team. Like I mentioned, we have 3 committees of education, outreach, public relations. We have our innovation team, as well as a shadowing program. So we're gonna jump more into detail about those.
So first we have the education committee. Our education committee is comprised of 3 main subcommittees. So we have seminars and research, and they're responsible for basically creating the seminars that you see at our general meetings. It's what we present to our members. They're also in charge of any case studies that we might want to do or activities that we do with the members during a given meeting. And we basically try to educate our members about disorders, research, and treatments. Our second subcommittee is the podcast subcommittee, and they produce segments related to neurological research and have the opportunity to interview doctors and other professionals in order to create their podcast. And this, you should definitely check out the HAND podcast on Spotify if you haven't already. And finally, we have social media and newsletters. So this subcommittee is in charge of creating the educational infographics that you see on our Instagram. They also create other interactives on neurological disorders. And for the upcoming quarter, we're actually planning on a couple of projects that integrate the 3 committees. So you can definitely expect to meet a lot of new people and get to have an opportunity to learn about all of these subcommittees even more. So you should definitely apply to education committee if you enjoy teaching, so presenting weekly seminars through the seminars and research squad. We have analyzing research opportunities to analyze research papers, creating aesthetic infographics and engaging presentations, having the opportunity to interact with UCLA professors and physicians and really getting that experience from them firsthand, and learning how to read research papers and going to online health forums to expand knowledge about neurological disorders. Also, the podcast team is looking out for new people interested in audio and video production. So if that's something you like, then you're definitely welcome to join that subcommittee.
All right, so moving on to Outreach Committee. So Outreach Committee is composed of 3 teams. The first one is blog and interview series. Members are basically able to write and publish blogs on the HAND website of a topic of their choosing. It could be within neuroscience or outside of neuroscience. And through that, they've had the opportunity to interview neurologists, researchers, other professionals in the UCLA committee. We have the presentations team, and they were able to present to different students in middle school and high school about neurological topics and also present at official UCLA events like Brain Awareness Week. And the last team is events team, and they organize events such as socials, guest speakers, and club collaborations just to overall build a community of interested students and increase HAND's campus presence at UCLA. So you should apply to Outreach Committee if you enjoy interaction and networking. We overall just want people who are passionate about working with others from various backgrounds, from kids to professionals. If you enjoy writing, like I mentioned, we do have a blog where our members are able to publish their own writing pieces. And if you enjoy building a sense of community and communication, and overall, we just want individuals who are outgoing and are passionate about educating the community about neurological disorders.
All right, and finally, we have our public relations committee, and they're also broken down into 3 smaller teams. So first off, they have designs, and basically they're responsible for designing all the flyers and graphics that you might see that help educate people about HAND's campus presence. Definitely take a look at the Instagram if you haven't already. We have a lot of really great posts by the public relations committee on there. Next up, we have our fundraisers team, and they basically brainstorm fundraising ideas to raise funds for meaningful costs, which can be used by the different committees within HAND. And finally, we have journaling, and this team works directly with the outreach committee to piece together a virtual magazine focused on research and current events. And so just going a little bit more in depth for if you are trying to figure out if PR committee might be the right fit for you. If you're really interested in creative roles or aesthetics, that PR might be a really good fit for you. So far, they've designed hand merchandise. They've made like t-shirt designs. It's a really great opportunity to maybe expand your experience in design if you haven't already. If you're also interested in graphic design, they do a lot of work with that when creating Instagram posts and flyers and things like that. If you're interested in reading and writing scientific articles, you know, they're going to be getting a little bit more into that virtual magazine with outreach committee, as well as kind of delving a little bit more into current events and current research. And finally, if you want to work with a more flexible schedule, this is a really great committee to join. It's a bit of a smaller team, so you work a little bit more closely with the rest of the people on your team. But some benefits that come with that are that you can set your own schedule and work at your own pace with the rest of your team members.
The innovation team is basically the part of HAND that really integrates all of these aspects together. So we integrate a lot of disciplines. These include, like, if you're interested in neuroscience, computer science, physics, or even if you're interested in design and marketing. So the overall goal of the innovation team is designing the hand glove prototype based on the I Stop Shaking patent by our president, Tiffany. And basically what it aims to do is reduce Parkinsonian tremors in individuals with that neurological disorder. Currently, we're separated into two main divisions. We have a research team and an engineering team, and this is how we worked last year primarily. So the research team uses educational materials to determine a scientific approach behind building the glove, as well as creating proposals based on business and marketing to implement the prototype. And then we have our engineering team where we determine the hardware and software design of the prototype. And this is definitely what you would want to be a part of if you're really interested in that coding element. We also plan to assemble the mechanical components this upcoming year. So we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty of it, and we're going to start building that prototype. So in the past year, we basically set the foundation for it. And now that we've secured all our grants and materials, we're going to be working on the physical implementation.
Yeah, thank you, Sasha. I wanted to mention that we've actually ordered all of our engineering parts, so they're coming to our dorms. They're being stored, and we hope to also partner with the UCLA Makerspace. I don't know if anyone's checked it out at the new dorms. There's a really large space, a lot of like laser cutting, 3D printing. So we hope to set up base over there. Okay, sorry, there's sirens. Okay, the perks of living next to a hospital. But moving on, so we're still on the innovation team. Last year, we entered this UCLA Health Innovation Challenge, and we were awarded as one of the winners of the MedTech and Digital Health categories. So we were able to receive some seed funding from that to help fund our project. Super exciting. So members, got the opportunity to write grants, proposals, as well as work with our professionals to kind of help guide us in terms of how should a professional grant look like, and how can we get funding, etc. Okay, so innovation team, I guess kind of the 5 general things we do. 1, we create specific designs for models. Again, we're in that prototyping phase of our patent, so members will be having a lot of hands-on design time. 2nd, writing for testing, so creating a clinical protocol. This one may come in a little bit in the future, but this is basically when we submit to the FDA, we need to submit a protocol in terms of how we're going to be testing the device for its safety, and so on. But 3rd, simulation, so testing using a physics engine. So this is when we actually have a physical prototype and testing it out, maybe not on patients yet, but ensuring that the mechanics work, and that we have a working product. So 4, redesigns, upgrades. Again, more redesigning, testing before creation or submission to the FDA. And like Sasha mentioned, there's a lot of time for coding if you're interested in that, including programming, back end, front end. Okay, so who should apply? If you have any experiences in CAD design, computational simulation, programming in Python, clinical research, robotics, UI design, 3D printing, definitely welcome. People who have had experience in these fields, and also apply if you want to design and create a prototype, contribute to the movement disorders technology, contribute to physical therapy treatments, partner with local movement disorders organizations, and of course, work with physicians, scientists, and engineers from across the world. So not sure if I mentioned this already, but when you apply into HAND, you're going to be choosing one of the 3 committees, so education, outreach, and PR. An innovation team will be kind of a supplement for the innovation team officers to consider your application in. Okay, so let's move on to our past events. How exciting.
Yeah, so first we have Dr. Michelle Basso, who is a professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Biobehavioral Sciences and Neurobiology. That was a mouthful. She's also a faculty and director at the Foster Laboratory of Cognitive Neuroscience, and they perform work relating to unraveling the neural circuits of decision-making and health. So she was able to speak to our club about her experiences in that specific field of research. Next up, we have Dr. Daniel MacArthur, who is a vascular and interventional radiologist, and he was just able to speak to our club more about his experiences in the clinical setting as a radiologist, as well as his journey with medicine.
Next up, we also got to hear from Dr. Dorothy Shao. She received her MD at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, went on to do her residency in pediatrics and her fellowship in neonatal perinatal medicine at the George Washington University. So she kind of spoke to us about all of her education as well as her practice in medicine. And finally, we also got to hear from Dr. Kristen MacArthur, and she works in gastrointestinal endoscopy. So she kind of talked to us a little bit about that specific field of medicine as well.
All right, here are some other past speakers we've had. Dr. Karen Morgenstern, who was a UCLA headache specialist, Dr. Daniel Toker, who is a UCLA neuroscientist. Super cool. He also runs a educational TikTok page. So that was interesting to hear. Dr. Daniel Holmes, who is a UCLA gastroenterologist, as well as founder of his own company, Dear Health. And Michael Costa, who is hopefully coming this year, but very busy man. Stanford mechanical engineer, and he's part of the intuitive surgical team. So these are just some of our past speakers. I believe we should have the full list on our website if you're interested in checking out who else has come to present to our club. Also, I see some chatting there, but we'll address any questions after the presentation. But yeah, send them in anytime.
Yeah, so moving on to one of our events that we did last year, we had, so HAM participated in a collaborative trivia competition in winter of 2021, and with 5 other organizations on campus, and we raised more than $1,000 to donate to the UCLA Movement Disorders program.
Very fun event, very competitive. But another past event, we have Let's Talk Movement Disorders. We have a nice banner on our Instagram page, but this is a public event that featured presentations by all of our committees. Innovation team also got to present. And yeah, it was a super cool event, and we hope to have it be an annual event and hopefully host it in person as a conference this year. All right. I believe this sums up our past events. So let's move on to our shadowing program.
Yeah, so this quarter, HAND is planning on launching, kickstarting the shadowing program, specifically in collaboration with the UCLA Movement Disorders Clinic, in order to give members the opportunity to shadow and volunteer and gain a bit more hands-on experience. And so we also plan on providing more professional development opportunities for our members, and that can include like placement into neuroscience and clinical research labs. And we're also going to continue virtually shadowing Parkinson's support groups like we did last year.
All right, and finally, we can get a little bit into our recruitment timeline. So this is info session number 1. We also have our second info session tomorrow. In case you want to hear from other officers, feel free to attend tomorrow's as well. Our general applications will be due on October 8th, which is week 2. We'll review applications, and several people will be invited for interviews, which will occur in week 3. And our decisions and onboarding will happen in week 4. And just for like general knowledge, our fall general meeting time is Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on Zoom. So if you do become a part of HAND, that will be our fall general meeting time, and that might change for future quarters as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Samia. Also wanted to note that some of the committee meetings are happening in person as well as our socials. So it's going to be, a mix and match between Zoom GMs and meeting your committee teams in person. All right. Okay, I believe this is the last slide. So thank you for staying with us to the end, but you can find us on Instagram, email, and our website at handucla.org. This brings us to the end of our presentation. So thank you to my team for a great presentation. We'll take any questions now. And let me stop sharing.